Very well, guys. So let's continue with the next part. We're just 3 parts away, my friends. Three parts away. And this is, of course, the what's the word? The hammer. So the hammer was asymmetrical, which means that we're gonna have to do this asymmetrically as well. But that doesn't mean that we need to start everything from an asymmetrical perspective. What do I mean by this? Well, we can actually start with a cube. If you guys remember when we first blocked in this thing, it was just a cube. So let's turn off this thing, the dynamic proportions or the constraint proportions, and I'm gonna go to wireframe. I'm gonna go to the pivot points, or the vertex, sorry, GNC. Let's bring them forward. GNC. Let's bring this guys backward. Let's push this ones in so we can like kind of match the silhouette that we have right there. And with our loop cut, we can even like insert an edge loop right around there. Grab this once and go right there. So if you guys remember, this was the initial blocking of our hammer. We just started with something very, very simple. And then we added, if I remember properly, a bevel. So why not add just a bevel right now? Let's make the bevel a little bit more aggressive. And let's give this a 2 segments. Whoop. No need to animate. There we go, 2 segments. So with this done, we can scale this on X a little bit to make sure that it has a proper like width. And with this done, we now have a very like easy, like simple way to start a retopology process. So as we mentioned with the modeling part before, with the modeling retopology, it doesn't mean that we always have to retopologize by hand. We can always use tricks like this to simplify our like workload and make things a little bit easier. Let's save real quick. Let's go retopoflow. 3000 triangles is fine. And let's go to add active. There we go. Setting everything up, and once we're ready, we are going to be able to grab this guy right here. So I'm going to grab the actually, let me quit real quick, and I just realized that we don't have screencast again. There we go. So again, we just grab this guys, we go here and we start with Retopoflow. That way we should keep a screencast right here. There we go. So now with this done, what we can start doing is we can add some lines, some like edge loops, for instance, right here. Oh, interesting. It's not letting me. Did I grab the whole, like the wrong thing? Did not. Yeah, there we go. Knife. Sorry, loops. It's really weird. I'm gonna try using the relax function, and this should push things out. I'm not sure if that's what the issue was right here. I don't think it was, but it could be generating some weird effects. Let's try again the loop cut. There we go. So I'm gonna add one loop cut right there. Oh, it does seem to be that. So let's just give it a couple of clicks so that this thing gets out of the element. Again, since it's asymmetrical, I don't care too much about like keeping things exact. Again, let's go loops. It's really weird. It's not letting me add any elements right here. Let me get out. Let's try this again. Do I have symmetry turned on? Could that be it? No, I don't. Oh, that's weird. There we go. Okay, so for instance, on this big line right here, I'm gonna add one, oh my god, there we go, one line right around there, which is gonna help me create that like specific like triangle right there. I'm actually gonna go back. Let's add one. I'm gonna kind of like blocking that face real quick right there. Same thing for that one. Where's the other hit? Like we have another one like right around there, and maybe this one right here. There we go. So now we can go to polypen and we can start deleting some of the faces where the big hits are, like this guy's right here, right? And by doing that, let me add another edge loop like right there. Yeah, there we go. So by doing that, oh, also another one right here, and let's add one more right there to capture this one right here. So by doing this, what I'm doing is I'm literally reusing the topology that we already had on our initial block to just save myself quite a bit of time in generating this big piece. So instead of having to draw all of these squares by hand, I am just going to be editing the parts where I know we're going to have a different silhouette. Like this one right here, no need to change it. That one right there, I think it's worth it, so let's add it right there. this one right here as well. So if it changes the silhouette heavily, I do think it's worth it to kind of like create the element with retopology. All of this like small cuts right there, no need whatsoever. So let's start with this one, for instance. I'm going to start with a poly pen, and I know that we're going to have a big triangle right here. It could be a square, by the way. Like, it doesn't have to be a triangle. Triangle is just the most common shape, but for instance, we can go here with a square. As you can see, that's also going to give us a good result. Let's go here, here. And again, I can already see that it's going to benefit more from being a triangle because we're going to be able to have this very, very sharp line right there. And then it's just a matter of bridging this and being like, okay, how are we going to connect all of the remaining pieces? So for instance, here, I'm going to go here, here, and here. And over here, we need a stitch. So I'm going to graph, I'm going to delete this face as well, so that I can create this guy right here. And then this one's going to be a big face over there. And we're going to have a triangle right here. I can already see that we can benefit from another like point right there. So another thing we can do is just go here, here. Let's do a triangle right there. And then we're going to have this point right here. So this guy right here is going to be my triangle point right at that position. From here, I'm going to go up here. Another small triangle right there. And we just start solving all of these elements. We want to try to keep the triangles in the flat areas of the element. That's going to be one of the things that we can do to keep a clean silhouette overall. There we go. So as you can see, by doing this, we have successfully created the proper topology, like the retopologized effect right there, to capture the silhouette of this guy right here. Doesn't have to be, again, super perfect, but the closest we can get it, the easier the bake is going to be once we're inside of Substance Painter. So that to me looks good. Let's go to the next one, which is the super big one right here. So for instance, let's utilize some of these points that we have right here to start creating the basics for this guy. So we can start with a square. Again, since we have that sharp line right there, it might be a good idea to try to, like, instead of having two big triangles in this particular one, I'm just going to try to follow the topology a little bit closer. And that should give me a good result. Let's go here. There we go. This is, of course, going to be a triangle. There we go. Here, we might have, again, a couple of triangles on this, like on the corner of this thing, this cut. But then from that, we no longer need triangles. So we can just go back to our nice clean squares. Here, for instance, not a triangle is not, it's not a bad idea. We can keep another triangle right there. One more there. One more here. Over here, this one, I think it will be worth it to bring it down. So we have a clean triangle there, clean triangle there, and clean triangle there. From here, we're going to go for a square. We're going to use the point of the square to start creating the elements or the assets that we're going to need over there. On this one, again, we've talked about this before. If it's easier to just add an edge loop, just add it. One extra edge loop, one, like 2 or 3 extra polygons on your element. They're not going to kill your asset or your performance. So sometimes just adding that little bit of extra information is just way, way better for us. Let's start with this interesting weird shape right here. Triangle right there. Again, a loop. I don't want this loop to go, well, actually we might need it all the way over there, so might as well just add another loop right there. But if not, we could just stop the loop somewhere along the path. There we go. Here I'm already seeing a triangle, square, and trying to capture the beveled effect as well with some triangles. Triangles are very versatile because as you guys have been seeing, they allow me to capture the silhouettes a lot better. And actually, like, this is a little bit of a well, it's not unknown, but people sometimes forget about this. When we import this into like Unreal, everything gets triangulated. even at render time, when you render things, the engines will automatically like triangularize everything. So so triangles are good, but we just need to know where to use them so that we get the best possible result. There we go. That looks good. Over here, I definitely see that we're gonna need some extra lines. So this is what I was mentioning. Like if I want to insert an edge loop right here, but I don't want this edge loop to go all the way over here, what I can do is I can select this face, delete it, select this face, delete it as well, insert an edge loop, let's say right there and right there, and then with the poly pen, just make this a triangle. So now that is again a square. Again, make this one a triangle. And we can just reuse this point right there to generate the sort of effect that we want. I'm not sure why that's like bending heavily. Just move it a little bit. There we go. So same for this one. Just move it back a little bit. And then from here, another triangle right there might not be a bad idea. Because I definitely want to try to capture this bevel right here as we go into this damage portion right there. So that tells me that we're gonna need a couple more edge loops. Let's go here. Let's go here. There we go. So for instance here, that's a triangle. That's a square. That's a triangle. Square. Triangle. Square. Triangle. Triangle. Oh, triangle. Big square. Not ideal because these are like a little bit tense. So those are not ideal squares, but we'll make it work. I'm probably going to be doing the smoothing thing for this one as well, because you can see this is very low poly, so we could definitely benefit from a little bit more resolution. Let's push this to the side. Let's start this one right here. Go. Go, and again here, I would like to have a triangle, so a couple of ways to do it. I'm just going to delete this face, create an edge loop right there, and then with poly pen, this one becomes again a square. It's going to be the point right there that I'm going to use to create the triangles. Go over here. Let's create this sort of like trapezius shape. Go. Boom. Then that's a square. That's a square. And that's a triangle. This is a triangle. It's another triangle. This is a square. And a final triangle right there. So that's it. With this done, as you can see, we have a really like cool looking hammer. 524 triangles, especially for such an important part, so little. So let's apply this, delete this. Let's add a subdivision surface. As you can see, 2000 triangles. That's way better. Let's keep the subdivision surface. Let's apply it, and we're gonna add a shrink wrap to, where is it? The hammer high. There we go. So as you can see, that should be a little bit better. It's not perfect. You can see that we do lose a little bit of the sharpness, but it is getting a little bit better. So I'm gonna apply it just so that we can keep it. And then what we can do is we can go back into RetopFlow. There's no sources detected right now, but if we were to go back to the, let's delete this one and this one. Where's this one? Cube. Let's call this hammer low. Hammer low. We can go back to Retopo flow and just push things a little bit, right? Like use our the tools that we already have to fix a little bit of the sharpness. So let's go real quick. Let's get out of isolation mode. I'm gonna say Retopo at active to start the Retopo flow process. There we go. And then let's get out. Select this guy right here. And we're gonna go to Retopoflow, so that it takes the original mesh, the hammer right there, as our sample. There we go. And now again, if there's a couple of points that we see that need a little bit more help, we can use the tweak to recover a little bit of that sharpness that we had. Now keep in mind that the normal map will make sure that everything looks very sharp, even though if the object doesn't look as sharp, because we lost some of this stuff, on the normal map it is going to look sharp, but the silhouette is what I want to recover. I want to recover a little bit of the silhouette. So for instance, some of these points, let me make this a little bit bigger, like pushing some of these points up or around. I'm sure it's gonna help. It's gonna help a little bit. Careful with that. We don't want to push things into places where they do not belong. Yeah, that looks good. Get this very nice clean silhouette. And that's it. There we go. So let's grab our hammer high, bring it to the high polys. This one, right click and shade smooth. Look at that. Oh, seems like we got a little bit of an issue right there. No problem. If this happens, just go into vertex mode. We can grab that vertex and just move it a little bit. That's fine. It's not gonna break anything. Just make sure that we don't have anything like, again, like completely broken. That's a little bit of broken right there. So for that one, I do recommend like cleaning it up. Might not be a bad idea to go back to the hammer and use some smooth, to be honest. So let me go back and let's go to Retopoflow. Because yeah, we do want to have our mesh as clean as possible. So here, the relax might be a little bit better for us. Go. Yeah, it seems about right. Let's just see if it actually worked. Oh, that one. Shade smooth. There we go. Cool. So yeah, hammer low goes into low polys and hammer high goes into high polys, and we are almost there. Look at this. If we take a look at the high polys for the axe, this is what we're going to be seeing in our game or in our render. As you can see, 14,000 triangles. That's perfectly fine. That means we still have up to like 15,000 triangles for the volcano and the axe. So yeah, that's it for this one, my friends. I'm gonna stop it right here, and in the next one, we're gonna take a look at the axe, which is the first part that I want to cover, and finally, we'll go to the volcano. So hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next one.